Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us at In the Know. We're catching up with some of your favorite celebs, reality TV stars, and more direct from their homes. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and today we're joined by Justin Sylvester, co-host of E's Daily Pop and host of E's podcast, Just the Sip. Justin and I talked about this moment of reckoning brought on by George Floyd's death and the Black Lives Matter protests that have overtaken the country ever since, which he's been more than willing to engage in open conversation around in an effort to encourage everyone to speak up and spur change. We also talked about how celebrities have been responding to the movement, what it's like to experience this as a gay Black man during Pride Month, and his involvement in Bravo's inspiring Amplify Our Voices series on Instagram. Keep listening for my full interview with Justin. Justin Sylvester, thanks so much for calling in. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
You know, I feel like it's been quite the past couple weeks for everyone. So, we're just trying to keep our heads up, I think, right now.
Do you feel fully Black yet?
Not at all, but I feel, I will say I feel so much more educated in 2 weeks than I had been for the past several years. So it's like, I just feel like, it's like been, so much has been put into like this last 2 weeks, and it's been so, encouraging to see and exciting to see some emotional moments. How has it been for you these past couple of weeks?
The first week it was heavy. It felt unreal.
Yeah.
And it also there was an ache in my heart and in my gut. And I didn't have the same feeling of hope that I have today. To see people rally around this cause, to see people not stay silent, to see people educating themselves and be open to having those uncomfortable conversations. That's what you hope for with something like this. And to see people adapt to it so quickly and be ready and willing, that's unbelievable.
Was there a moment where you sort of where your opinion changed, or where your feelings changed to have more hope? Like, was there something you saw, or?
Yeah, I think going into the protests that were taking place in Los Angeles and seeing that 60% of the people at the protest were non-Black,
right,
and were ready, and realizing that these protests that were not only organized, Queens came out with hand sanitizers. We had water stations along the route.
Yes.
There was a pizza pass out tray that was on another corner of the route. To see these protests pop up and to realize that there are people that were under the age of 27 putting these things on. I will never talk shit about the younger generation again.
No, Gen Z is where it's at, honestly. Like, that is, it's really impressive.
It is Top Chef protesters. They are cooking up some real good shit right now. And, I keep on going to these protests and wanting to meet the people that are putting them on. I'm thinking they're going to be, older Black men or
Right.
Black women who are tired of hearing about Breonna Taylor and not having her name said enough. And when you meet these kids, you're like, wow, you were born in the 90s.
Yeah. And they weren't even alive when things were happening in 20-30 years ago. And it's just, it's like, this is not a reality that they're going to accept. And they like, there was that sign that was like, this is the last generation that you're going to with. And
yes,
you know what I mean? Like, this shit's over.
I saw literally what gave me the most hope, seriously, was I saw a sign that was written on the back of a White Claw carton.
Hey, wherever you can find the cardboard, the
fact
dual purpose.
The fact that you said, I'm gonna not only recycle this White Claw carton, I'm gonna go ahead and write Black Lives Matter on this thing, and I'm gonna walk around with this sign. And it was that raspberry one too. So I was like, ooh, you got good taste. You got good taste. We can be friends.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's amazing. And you have really been putting yourself out there, at least in the past, week and a half, 2 weeks of, you were on the Comments by Celeb podcast. You've had some really open conversation on your own, Just the Sip podcast. I feel like you have been just willing to engage in some really open and honest conversations with different people. And I'm curious, like, first is what has that been like for you to just like kind of air out some of this stuff and really hear from different points of view?
You know, the reason why I decided to have those honest conversations is because I have a platform that's not on the Kim Kardashian level. I don't have millions of followers. But what I have and what I've been blessed with is a TV show and a podcast that allows me to connect with people every single day at
Mm-hmm.
12:30 in the afternoon. And when you're on an opinion-based talk show like I am, you really get people really get to know you and they get to see you for who you are. So for me, if I'm having honest conversations every single day about pop culture news and entertainment and things going on, I should be able and willing to have uncomfortable conversations when it deals with Black Lives Matter. And I think a lot of times when people hear Black Lives Matter, they automatically get scared or they automatically say, oh, this has nothing to do with me. This is about Black lives. And to be someone, a conduit that can sit and have uncomfortable conversations with people who never had to deal with
Mm-hmm.
racism in their lives. You know, the girls behind comments by celebs, I'm going to throw my hat off to them because they could have stayed in their lane and they could have sat there and did, pop culture news and talked
Mm-hmm.
about the Kardashians and kept it pushing and nobody would have blinked an eye.
Right.
It's starting conversations with people like them that do have, the demographic and have the audience that need to hear these hard conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like if they want your opinion on the latest Kim Kardashian controversy, then they need to be open to your opinion on Black Lives Matter and the protests that are happening around the country. Like you
100%.
can't have your cake and eat it too. Like I love how you said that people have really gotten used to your opinion. And so I feel like that did create that you probably had already laid the groundwork for it to be more open. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's really special, I think.
But I'm also the person in the sense that, I do my show with two people, I have two co-hosts. And, what I've learned over the years, just in communicating with other people is I might not get it, but I will sit here and I will try to understand your side of the road.
Totally.
So if you come to me and you tell me that, you worship this statue that you found because it has healing powers, I'm going to sit with you and I'm going to let you tell me what that statue has done for you. Even though in my mind, I think it's crazy. I think part of human kindness and human decency is to empathize with people, even though you don't understand them.
Definitely.
Um, and I think sometimes when we see Black Lives Matter, people turn the channel because they don't understand it and no one is explaining it to them in the way that they can understand it. So
Mm,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit with you and I'm going to talk to you in the way that you are willing to accept the information.
definitely. And it's, I mean, from listening to some of the conversations that you have had recently, it also seems that you come from a point of view, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you come from a point of view that's really optimistic and really kind of trying to see the best in people. And that's definitely not the case for everyone that has been taken to social media and kind of airing out their thoughts. And I'm curious if like that's just sort of your disposition, and if that's just sort of or if that's how you've just approached this, what's happening right now, to kind of encourage more conversation.
No, I am a very optimistic person, just in life.
Hmm.
My life was not easy. I'm at a place in my life where I'm happy and I'm, optimistic that the future will get better because my future when I was a kid got better.
Right.
And what I find is we want people to be on the front lines with us. We want people to be keyboard killers and post the message. And there are people who say that if you're not out here protesting with me or holding a sign, that you aren't down for the cause. And those people are needed. You need those people, those radicals who are ready
Of
to say that
course.
and expect that. But for myself, I'm a big picture kind of guy. And if we can't appeal to the person who is afraid to be on the front lines because of COVID or because they're scared, if we can't appeal to the person that doesn't want to post anything because they don't want to scare their customers or lose money or lose their jobs, if we can't get those people, The person I truly want is the person who is willing to have a conversation with
Yes.
her husband, willing to have a conversation with her family members, but most importantly, willing to have a conversation with her children to let them know that this is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you should treat other people.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the conversations, those are the people that I want to reach, because when it comes down to it, it's the next generation that is going to be in charge of making sure that they pass that down to the generation after that.
Totally. And I think what's so valuable about you recording these conversations and publishing them and having them on TV is somebody could be watching it, and even if they just take one little thing from it, just one little thing, oh, this is how you say that, oh, this is how you should answer a question like that, then that's worth it.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And I keep on telling people, there's no such thing as a wrong question. Like, if you ask a question and you might say something wrong, let me answer it for you, because the next time this comes up, you will know how to answer it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And the only wrong question is the one you don't ask.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. I'm curious, just like, what have you found the reaction's been for you? I mean, what do your DMs look like on Instagram right now? Are a lot of people reaching out? Are a lot of like, what does that look like for you?
People are down. People are reaching out. People are happy to see, what's coming out of this. On my Instagram, I do a mix of funny and powerful. Like, I want people to still come to my IG and laugh and have a good time and really find solace in escaping the harshness of really what's going on. Because if you look on CNN, or if you look on Fox News, it's videos and photos of looters and fire and brimstone. And that's truly not what's going on in the world. That's 10% of this whole thing.
Very small percentage of what's going on.
Very small percentage. So for me, I just wanted to give you a firsthand account of something that is peaceful, unifying, and most importantly, you can find your husband there. I tell that to everybody.
Totally.
At least, at minimum, come get a cute photo, come get this free water, and come find some D.
Hey, whatever it takes, Justin, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I tell this to people all the time. People are like, I can't believe you're making a mockery of these protests by posting these hot dudes. I'm like, look, if I can get 2 girls off the couch swiping left and right to come out to these protests, why not?
Hey, speaking of you, another way that you've been able to engage people is on Bravo's Instagram account, which is with some of their top Black talent. Candy, Portia, Giselle were the first of the Amplify Our Voices series on their Instagram Live, and I know that there will be at least one more. And kind of, what was it like? Because obviously Ian, Bravo are connected, but what was it like being kind of exposed to that, directly to that Bravo audience? And what were those conversations like for you? Because I found them extremely kind of inspiring and kind of worthwhile, but I'm curious how the experience was for you.
The experience to me was amazing, because a lot of times when I do talk to these people, I've talked to Candy a few times, I've talked to Portia a few times. And when we talk to these women, it's about, drama, or it's about what's coming up, or
the reunion or whatever.
Yeah, like it's a geek.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? We love a Housewives geek. Come on.
We everybody loves a RH geek, okay? So to have and come and sit with these people and talk about what's going on in their lives, there was a twofold to it. The first is, I'm just happy that Bravo was down to have these conversations. And the second thing is, when people see their lives, they think, oh my God, they're fabulous, they're rich, they're beautiful. They don't deal with racism, at all. And that's not the truth. These women are still raising young Black men and women. They are still Black women walking around this earth, and they are still feeling the microaggressions and the racism that they deal with on a daily basis. So to have those conversations with those people, and to an audience that is diverse.
Very diverse.
It's amazing in the sense that, if you hear it from a politician, you're not going to receive it.
In one ear, out the other.
I'm the same way. If I hear it from a politician, I don't have time.
There's an ulterior motive or something happening, right?
There's an ulterior motive. There's a bill you want me to vote for. Like,
yes.
I just can't. if you hear it from a celebrity, same, you might take 50%.
Mm-hmm.
You might take, oh, she said this, but I don't know. If you hear it from a reality TV star, if you hear it from somebody that exposes their real life on camera, because people have this unbelievable connection with reality stars because they invite you into their homes and they invite you into their lives, it's just different. It hits
Yeah,
different
I
because you
agree.
know that person. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
You know
And,
that person.
and I think taking Portia specifically, it's like her evolution has been so inspiring and impressive. Like just thinking about Portia from season 1 of Real Houses of Atlanta to where she is now, it's like, God, like that is just real. That's real self-improvement and real education and real just like being in touch with kind of her own experience. And that really came across in your conversation with her. And I was really just struck by that. And I think it gets into what you were just saying.
Can I be real with you for two
Yeah.
seconds? I think that's always been the Portia. I think that has always been the Portia, but I think what happens is everybody has that person in them, but they need someone to activate it.
Got it.
You're not walking around spilling tea on activism and Black Lives Matters and murders and all these things until you have to.
Right.
You're not a lawyer until you're in that courtroom. You're not a doctor unless you're involved in an emergency. When you're walking around being fabulous, you're not that person. I think Portia Williams has always been that person, but like Paris Hilton, she found the side of her that she knew people wanted to see. Because let me tell you one thing about Queen Paris Hilton, one of the smartest people that I've come across, knows exactly how to read a room and how to read people and knows what they want and has built an empire and a career that has spanned 2 decades and has never had a moment where she was out, washed up, or done. She always knew
Totally
how to transition and she knew how to take advantage of it. I think Portia Williams is that same person. So when you hear it from her, you're like, whoa, maybe I need to take this in.
Totally. No, I think, and she has a way of connecting with people. It's like, there's always a level of humor into it, with her. There's always like you have to smile just watching her, but she's really tapped into something that I believe it's always been there, but maybe she just had to sort of like get in touch with it a little bit.
She just needed to get in touch with it.
Yeah.
It's like when I tell people, you probably have a third eye. You just haven't had to open it yet.
Wow. That's profound, Justin.
It's true.
I like that.
True. Everyone says it. You have a third eye. You just haven't opened it yet. You have to learn how to open and untap it. But I feel like everybody has that third eye. Whether you feel comfortable talking like Portia, or whether you feel comfortable posting it, or whether you feel comfortable just having the conversation within your own small groups, open your eye.
Totally. And a lot of people are sleeping in that third eye, and like they maybe will never wake up. But that's part of that. That's part of having these conversations, is hoping that more people will wake up, I feel. And I'm curious if there are other celebrities or public figures. I mean, you mentioned sort of like you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt with some people, but are there other people that have impressed you in the past couple of weeks with just like either how open they've been or how engaged they've been?
Yeah, Scott Evans from World of Dance and Access Hollywood, he also posts live footage from in real time footage from where he is in the marches, and it always impresses me that he gives this unbiased look at it. And he is kind of sort of the person that I modeled my social media coverage after, because I just loved what he was doing. And it's great to see people, he's a very white audience. Like, I'm a Black man running in a very white world, and they have been very nice enough and very open, and handing me the gasoline and the matches and saying, go with it.
I love that. Yeah.
Burn this down. Let's do this. So when you're one Black person, operating in such a white space, it could be a little bit of a jig. It could be a dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now it's like, haha, let's activate because we are down for this cause and we are ready. Take the fire,
Here's
take the
mic.
gasoline. yeah, if you need more, let us know. We have
Totally.
any resources that you want here at NBC. So
Yeah.
that's been really nice to like really see him and NBC come alive. I should say come alive during out this whole thing. Um, I've been watching Portia's because it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
And just seeing like all the little actors who never really had, a voice come out and just like Brandon Kyle Goodman, who's a Netflix writer and a star. He's one of my next podcasts on Just a Sip. But just to see him go from having 49,000 Instagram followers, posting a video that gets 2 million views
And it just builds his
overnight,
platform, right?
it just builds this platform and amplifies his voices, and just the people, and not even celebrities, just people in your life that you never thought would be brave enough or woke enough to see this side of history but also participate in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
It's really cool to see. And one clip that sticks in my mind is one of your colleagues, Nina Parker. And that there's a clip of hers that kind of made the rounds. I think it was last week. And she gave this really impassioned kind of speech on Nightly Pop, I believe. And it was really affecting. And I've watched that several times now because it really kind of like breaks through the bullshit. And it's like, she's just wearing her heart on her sleeve. And it was really, one, amazing that is something that like just aired on E and it was posted all over the socials. And I don't know, I felt really encouraged by that clip.
No, it's amazing. I always say Nina and I are two people who are willing to do the work, and we're down for the same cause. We just say it differently.
Right.
You know,
Hey,
Nina is
different
Malcolm
approaches.
X. Different approaches. Nina is Malcolm X. I am Nelson Mandela.
We need them both.
We need them both. You need them both to make change. And I'm so happy to have her as a counterpart in this fight, because you always have to have, there's one parent who's a disciplinarian. And then there's one parent that comes in and sued you because the other parent like yelled at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the parent. Nina's the parent who screams at you and tells you that you are wrong and you need to do better. And da 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 da. And I'm the parent who comes in after and says, your mama is right. She might have hurt your feelings, but she's right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Comforting, but still like, no, like that message is correct.
You need to listen.
Right.
And it's funny because I'm different in the sense that I've always said, I'm going to use my voice when I feel like it's going to be the loudest,
yeah,
most profound. And I am not the type of person to jump on bandwagons here and there, because I feel like, why light a small fire when we can all put our wood together and light one big one?
Mm-hmm. Blow it all up. Right.
And a lot of times Nina and I disagree on that, because she's like, why wouldn't you say something about that? Why couldn't you talk about that? And it's like, because I'm not ready to blow my horn just yet. I want to blow my horn for something bigger.
Totally.
And right now it seems like she's like, haha, I see it. I get it.
This is that something bigger.
I'm with you. Mm-hmm. This is something bigger. And we can all put our firewood into the bonfire and light it up. We just need everybody. I don't even care if you have one stick because you have a friend who's Black, or two sticks because you dated a Black guy in high school, or you have a pile of sticks because your husband's half Black and your children are a quarter Black. Put that shit in the pile.
Put it all in. I love that. Put it all in. Yes.
I don't even care if you have a stick because you like the Black guy at the store that he runs. Like, do it for him. Put your damn stick in there. If you had a teacher who you couldn't imagine, when you were younger, being treated this way, pick up the stick and put it in the pile.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say it better. And I think that what's happening in our country is coinciding with June, which is our annual Pride Month. And I have certainly seen already on social and just like across the media, more representation for of people of color in the queer community, and just
100%.
like, more acknowledgement of who started Pride, which were Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. And I don't know, as a Black gay man in the public eye, I'm curious if you have felt that, if you have felt more support this year than other years. And just, I'm curious what your experience has been during Pride so far. Because it is different this year.
I have a weird relationship with the white gays.
Okay. Unload it.
I feel like the white gays are late to the party.
Mm. I think that's accurate.
I think the white gays are more impressed and more worried about likes than lives at this moment. And I say that because the white gays will wait for the other white gays in the community to start posting Black Lives Matter, and then they will then follow suit, but it'll be 3 to 4 weeks later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that, like, having this conversation with my own friends who are white and gay, you know, it was hard. It was tough because they're like, but I donated and like, da, 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 and if I don't feel comfortable posting, I'm like, that when we were marching for Prop 8 to be done, when we were marching for the right to marry and the right to adopt children, we all remember how it felt to see those straight men and women post that rainbow flag in solidarity with us. And we felt seen, we felt heard, and we felt like we were finally making a change.
Yes.
And the fact that you have decided that you don't want to post something because it's going to start an uncomfortable conversation, just remember how meaningful it was to have that little rainbow just right next to that guy's name. And you knew that he was having hard conversations with his male coworkers and his cousins and his frat friends, but he was there for you.
Yeah. So be there for you now.
So be there for us now. And by the way, we marched for your ass so you can get married to some dude who you knew for 6 months, only to divorce 8 months later. So run me my La Crusette pot back because I want it back, and throw up that Black Lives Matter post, okay?
So people are late to the party, but they're at the party now.
Better late than never. You know what? At this point, better late than never. We'll take the numbers. You know, I think a lot of times we as gay men live in this posh, perfect bubble. West Hollywood is amazing. And, you know, when we look at our own surroundings, like, we're not that inclusive, you know?
Yeah.
I may be one Black friend in a group of friends. Like, as sad as that may be, it's true. You know?
And I think people like to give themselves credit for like checking the box or whatever, but it's like, no, like it's way more than that.
And we need to step up. We need to step up, if not for George Floyd, we need to step up for Breonna Taylor, because Black women were always here for the gay fight. Black women were always here for the trans fight. They were down. They've always been down. And I think there's just some things that we really have to wake each other up on as gay brothers and sisters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you even think about it, it's like half the stuff we say as gay men comes from women of color and communities of color. It's like, that's where a lot of the, like our turns of phrases and things come from. And in the first place. So like, it's just, you know, it's long overdue to recognize.
I call it the Queen's English.
I love that. I love that, Justin.
Comes, yes, Black women.
Exactly.
Snatched Black women.
Queen with a K.
Like,
you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So it's like, come on. It's just like recognizing it. And it's just, I don't know why it's so hard for people to do that, but I do sense some sort of change happening, and I really hope that you do too.
I sense some change.
Yeah.
And I know Pride Month is coming up. I know people are marching and getting themselves out there, and those posters, I know y'all getting them ready. I know y'all will get some cute ass posters together. And when you're making those posters, gay men out there, I love you, but you cannot forget about the Black trans men and women who have been brutalized not only by the police, but by our very own culture. So please make sure you put their names on that.
100%. Justin, I think that's all the time we have, but I loved talking to you, and continue doing what you're doing, because I think a lot of people are learning from you, and I'm grateful personally for you to continue engaging in these conversations, and I hope it's just the start, honestly.
I hope too, and come back. I know things are going to unfold. I know things are going to go crazy, and if people need a place to hear these conversations, Just the Sip my podcast that's on every platform. We're having uncomfortable conversations with white people, with black gay people. We're going everywhere. Okay.
Good.
I'm about to go to an Indian reservation, and we're going to have these conversations with people up on the reservation.
We need to engage everyone. Yes.
We need to engage everybody. And trust me, if you are, and I say this with the most passion in my heart, and I'm going to say it slowly, and I'm going to say it firmly. Everyone out there listening, if you are afraid to post Black Lives Matter, I totally get it. Give me at least register to vote. Mm-hmm. Give me, please get out and vote November 3rd. Give me, you need to know who your representatives are. That's at the least, that's what I need.
Bare minimum. Yep.
The bare minimum, tell people to register to vote, because every vote matters. Every vote counts, no matter if you're rich, you're poor, you're gay, you're straight, you're bi. No one's going to know.
That's equal right there.
And you can even say, hey, leave it right there. That's all you need to say. Register to vote.
Love that. Well, Justin, have a great rest of your week. And I look forward to continue to hear more from you, because, it's been great. It really has. For more stories from In the Know, go to intheknow.com. You can also follow In the Know on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and find me, Gibson Johns, on Instagram and Twitter at Gibsonoma. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.